Wrestling with wrestling's past and present.
How old were you?
I was -3.
CJR is trying to contain Jim Raw. Do you see any of the aggro crag? Was any of that left over?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
I'm taking some of that home.
God, I hope that storyline ends soon.
And 6 to 8 weeks later, they mail you a freaking magnet.
Yep. Mongo.
Mondo.
Mondo Burger. Welcome to Good Burger. Good Burger.
Just wait to further the cheap pop. Mick Foley still owes Tim $10.
Just the definition of blue balls and gaga. It's like
That could be a t-shirt. Blue balls and gaga.
It's still real to me, damn it.
I was waiting for him to say his name. And I'm like,
Totally forgot to say it.
you give this fucking guy 1 week off, and you add 2 words to the intro. And Tim's like, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. We've been doing the intro for 200 fucking episodes the same way.
That's the most asinine shit that I've ever seen. Like, it just that was a storyline. A man ate his dog.
A reason to come here and listen to ourselves talk.
Absolutely.
And then you can listen to us too.
Strap on and balls only on Wrestling Past and Present.
This is Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior, and you're listening to Wrestling where wrestling's past and present.
This is another live edition of Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present. I'm Tim Kurt.
Roland's on mute.
Start the show off.
I figured I'd get it out of the way now. Why not, right? I'm Roland Fulis.
And I'm Mongo.
Not to be confused with Mondo or Mango.
Armando Alejandro Estrada. Again, we're doing this live. Thanks for all of our viewers. I know it's another late night for you guys, so thanks for the ones that are tuning in. Us in on Facebook, Twitch, and wherever else we are. Today we are discussing Bad Blood from 2004. I watching the show back, I was actually pretty impressed with this one. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I thought it was a fairly decent show.
Yeah, it was a very solid show, actually. Being a Raw-only pay-per-view, it was kind of surprising that there wasn't... it seems like every time we do a brand-specific one from, like, the early days of the brand split, it comes the bland split, because, like, half the episode sucks, and there's, like, 2 good matches, and we're like, it was all right. This is actually... I mean, to be fair, it's honestly hard to pick the worst match on here. I mean, I know there's some, iffy moments or whatnot, but like, to be honest with you, there wasn't really a bad match. I mean, there, some iffy segments and whatnot, but it wasn't bad.
And that's kind of what WWE was in 2004, 2005. This is the rise of Evolution. This is when they're really starting to come to power. When they kicked out Jindrak. And, so, obviously Batista was on the pre-show, so we didn't get to see him, but you're going to kind of see Evolution get involved and kind of start rising to power and keeping their power and, not spoil the thing, but it definitely felt like a Evolution heavy show. Like, it felt like a very much building them show. And I think that's why it was good, because this was when WWE it had some of its lackluster moments, like Roland was saying, but when it was on, it was on.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right into it. Like Mongo mentioned, Batista was on the pre-show or Sunday Night Heat. He got a win over Maven. That must have been a barn burner right there. But we start off the actual show with the tag team match for the World Tag Team titles. You have Chris Benoit and Edge going against La Resistance, which is Sylvain Garnier and Robert Conway. Benoit and Edge are going to get the win by disqualification just over 10 minutes. I thought this was a really solid match. I thought it was a good opener. I thought La Resistance actually looked pretty good in this match. I don't remember ever really being the biggest fan of them, but I thought they put on a solid performance.
Neither was Vince.
Yeah, true. I wasn't crazy about the finish. I got why they did it. Kane came out. It cost Benoit and Edge the titles. They won by disqualification. Fast forward, Benoit and Kane do have a world title match later on in the show, so it sets up the injury angle with Benoit. Can he compete later on? So I get why they did it, but it just felt like a really a Raw segment to me, not a pay-per-view segment. So I would have liked to see a clean finish, but overall, this was better than expected for me.
Yeah, same here. I could care less about La Resistance today or when Mongo gets to meet them or in 2004. Like they just, other than being that Canadian, and we know how much Tim likes Team Canada angles and stuff. So other than being that Canadian, like outsider, like we're from Canada. Well, we're French Canadian. It was one of those tag teams that like, even like you said, Mongo, Vince didn't give a shit about them. Neither did we. It was just, I mean, they're pretty talented in the ring. I'll give them that, but like, it didn't do anything for me. And, you have Edge and Benoit, young Edge before he's even had his world title push, so, and then Benoit, we all know the wrestler Benoit, what he could do in the ring. So
I feel like Kane was supposed to come out like 10 minutes before he did in this, though, because I've never seen someone who wasn't like a Triple H or a Shawn Michaels or like a Batista stay in the crossface for that long and not tap out. Like he was in the crossface for what felt like 20 minutes. Like I feel like he was just waiting for Kane to come out. Like so I agree with Tim. The finish was just kind of like, oh, what the hell. But I enjoyed the match itself. Like you both said, I was surprised that La Resistance was, La Bearable in this match. And I just think that Edge and Chris Benoit were a great team. And obviously, we're not going to get into Chris Benoit. We talk about this every time he's in wrestling history. We're not going to touch on that subject. But as a match, Edge and Chris Benoit had some great chemistry. And I think it really kind of helps, like Roland said, get Edge ready for his title run that he was about to go on.
Yeah. Next up is a singles match. You have Chris Jericho going to get a win over Tyson Tomko with Trish Stratus in about 6 minutes. I thought this match was okay for what it was. I liked how they kind of had a little bit of a story where Tomko put Jericho through the table a few weeks ago before this pay-per-view, and they were playing up the whole ribs thing. And Tomko basically dominated the match, but Trish got involved, distracted, got up on the ropes. Jericho knocked Tomko into Trish, hits the enziguri, and wins the match. It is what it is. I mean, I was entertained. It wasn't the best physical match you're ever going to see, but for what it was pretty good.
Yeah. Did he though? Did he really hit the enziguri? Did he?
He hit it at the back of the head.
Well, and Tomko felt like he was belly flopping into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
So he did like the Ric Flair spot.
Yeah.
Like,
that was kind of an unusual finish that he won with an enziguri. You don't really expect that. I can remember one time he won when he faced the Three Legends at WrestleMania. I think he eliminated Piper by that, but. Other than that, it was, kind of an unusual finish, but, it's what it was.
Well, he's the man of 1,004 holds, so.
That's true.
You never know. But, yeah, it definitely, Tomko, like, reminds me of, like, the stereotypical can't quite wrestle big guy. Like, he's got the look, and he's like the teenager that has the growth splurt that like grows up a little bit too quick and he's a little clumsy and shit in the ring. Like that's kind of like what he reminded me of. And like I said, that enziguri was like one of the worst. Like he was already like at a 45-degree angle on his way down before Jericho like even got his foot up there. Like it was awful. If you want to go back and watch it just for that spot and be like, you can. But like Tim said, interesting way to finish it. Trish gets cleaned off the apron by Tomko, spins around, hits the enziguri. That would be where now he would either hit the code breaker or the Judas effect or something, but they decided that we're going to go with a sloppy, horrible looking step up enziguri. So
I know. Basically, that'd be like almost trying to do one right now. We're good.
Yeah.
Or like him trying to do a Trouble in Paradise and just like kicking the guy in the face. Yeah. So, steroided freak Serge Tankin wannabe here. Tyson Tomko. Jesus. What was their obsession with him? Like even when he was in TNA, like for a while, they were like,
damn, have you seen his muscles? That's the obsession with him. God damn, look at his look, pal. He's giving me a raging hard on. Oh, Vince, your pants.
Vince, yeah.
You're pitching a tent, Vince. Like, yeah, like that. That's what it was.
I don't know. I mean, it was good. Jericho had to kind of make, nothing on a dog shit, and I think he did a good job. But like you both said, the enziguri was just don't do it again. It's kind of like CM Punk at Double or Nothing when he tried the buckshot those like 2 times. Like, look, if you do something once, great. If you barely do it, maybe don't keep trying on the national stage when Botchamania nowadays has a field day with him.
On a premium live event. Oh, wrong show. Wrong show.
Next up is a singles match for the Intercontinental title. It's Randy Orton getting a win over Shelton Benjamin in about 15 minutes. Kind of like how they set this up. They did an interview with Orton in the back, and he got kind of pissed off of the crowd, so he came out there, cut a promo, and Benjamin came out and the match started. They were teasing it was supposed to go on later on in the night, but the referee came in, rang the bell, and the match started. So I kind of like how they set it up. You don't see that too often. This is a really good match. This is early Randy Orton. He's just coming off that win against Mick Foley at Backlash, which I think kind of put him on the map there, that hardcore match, kind of solidified the Legend Killer theme. So he's got the momentum going. Ric Flair gets involved in this match. I do like the spot where he's got Benjamin's got Flair in the figure 4 and does the roll up on Orton. I thought that was a pretty cool spot. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid match. Two young guys. It's kind of a shame Shelton Benjamin's career didn't really take off more than it did. But you can see that the future was bright for Orton in this match.
I'm going to pull the Eric Bischoff. Did you just say Mick Foley? Because he owes you $10.
$10. I think with the interest, it's like $12 now.
Well, I mean, let's not get picky. We can at least get the $10 back from the cheap prick. We'll be happy. But
hey, he's got a new podcast now, so he has no excuse.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. Like, I know that he's a good storyteller, but Conrad's got to reel that in. Like, it's bad. I listened to it on the way back from Charlotte last weekend, and I'm like, oh, okay, Emily's sleeping, Cam's sleeping. I need to put something on, so I'll put a podcast on. Good God. That'd be like trying to talk to Roland's 2-year-old right now. Just like the story was just so all over the place. I was like, no, you need to focus, Mick. Like, he's starting to talk about Hell in the Cell, and that's not a shot at your 2-year-old. I just meant like the whole, how kids are like ADD, like change the subject every 30 seconds. But
so moving along, we have a
well, I don't want Roland to think I'm trying to pick on his
I'm kidding. I was trying to pretend that I wasn't paying attention. There was a failed joke. Never mind.
Yeah.
Continue.
So anyway, long story short, I think that Randy Orton, like you said, Roland, this was really the building block of him. This match was two great athletes. They both put on a hell of a match.
Tim said that. The only thing I said was about Mick owing Tim $10. I'm not even going to.
Maybe that's what threw me off my little tangent. So we're just going to go backwards. So I'm going to agree with you, Tim. Sorry, I'm super confused right now because, me, but yes, insulting Roland's kid because Roland gave me a look and Tim tried to cut me off. But it was a good building block for, like you said, they kind of show what the Intercontinental title was. It was the bridge title to get to the world title. You had the mid-card title that was prestigious, and you did it right. He was the heel champion going in. He kept that gold because he wasn't quite ready for it, but, this future run with Evolution is going to get him ready for it.
Yeah. My kid's pretty smart.
I wasn't saying he wasn't. I just meant conversation-wise, like how it's – and obviously he is.
You're gonna have my mom like defending him through the laptop when she listens to the episode. Like, my grandson's a smart kid. He's a smart boy.
Hi, Linda.
Yeah, hi, Linda. Hi, Mom.
Linda. I'm not trying to say that. I just meant it was a bad analogy. I'll use my own ADD ass too because I'm like, ooh, look, a butterfly. But that's what Mick Foley's podcast was like. It was just like going in 19 different directions. So please pay Tim $10 so I don't dig this hole any deeper, Mick, please.
Please, Mick. But yeah, I honestly, it was one of those matches where it shows you the potential that both could have lived up to, and that one did and one didn't, just because one had personality and one didn't. Like, that's really Shelton Benjamin was the modern day Lance Storm. No matter what he tried to do, he just wasn't relatable enough with his charisma. Oh, excuse me. Beer burp. Anyhow, I couldn't get to the mute fast enough. I'm like, it's coming. But anyways, he is the modern day Lance Storm.
Maharaja. Oh,
yes, yeah, the modern day Maharaja. But yeah, it just shows you the potential of both, really, because I mean, they were in the same class at FCW, so they have history, they had good chemistry, which is helpful, and they put on a great match.
No, I agree.
Next up is a fatal 4-way for the women's championship. You have Trish Stratus going over against Victoria, Lita, and Gail Kim. Really short match, under 5 minutes. This was a cluster to me. You have Tomko getting involved a couple times. It's just, I don't know. It was hard to follow. It was short. But one thing I think, though, it's like I wish all 4 of these women were in their prime today because they could put on so much great matches. I think there's so much talent here, but they used it for eye candy back in this era and not for their talent. So I really think if they were in their prime today, they would shine because they're all 4 of them are really talented. Gail Kim, Victoria had really good Impact careers. And, Lita and Trish really did have good careers, but again, I think they just were a generation too early for their prime. But yeah, this was the one that the first match I was like, yeah, they're not the greatest.
Yeah, I guess if you had to pick one, this is maybe the worst match on the card, only because it was such a cluster, and it still wasn't quite when they were respecting women's wrestling even a little bit. Like I know, you have the women's evolution now where like, it's become something, but back then Vince, even though he was letting them wrestle and stuff, it still was kind of a joke to him. I think that he was more like, oh, let's see their titties. Like I feel like that was Vince's. You can use that soundbite if you want. That's probably a good one. You might want to bookmark that soundbite for the intro. Because I think that'd be pretty funny. But anyhow, it's just
we're twinning, by the way.
Yeah, we are. Tim, where's your shirt?
It's in my dresser.
Look,
we didn't play it. You didn't tell me guys to wear it.
We didn't have to. This was just, Roland's lovely wife Amber worked very hard making these for us. These are great shirts, great material. Maybe available one day, but you got to rock it once in a while. I saw it and I was like, oh. So thank you, Amber. Appreciate the shirt.
She's not going to hear it because she don't listen to our fucking show, but it's
okay. Linda, tell Amber I said thank you.
Right, yeah. She used to back in the day. Like I remember, like the first 10 episodes she'd listen, and then she just fell behind and was like, "Fuck this, I don't care anymore." And that's just she's into the older stuff, a lot of our fans are, but she just didn't. It was like with that's the one nice thing about Bruce Pritchard doing these remixes all the time is that you can catch up on his podcast real easy because only one a month is live and the rest of them are just remixes. So you can listen to that one episode and you're caught up. So
yeah, that's what I'm worried about with my world, man. I'm worried it's going to happen in my world now that Jeff's gone back. But sorry, go back. I'll put you back.
No, you're not wrong. You're 100% right. But yeah, no, I think that this was still when Vince wasn't taking the women serious, and it's too bad because, like Tim said, if they all had a chance in their prime today, damn, some of the women from back then, Alita or Trish, I know they've mixed in certain matches here and there, but they're about 5-10 years past their prime, and they haven't been in the ring in that amount of time either. They'll come out for a one-off. Lita did the one-off there for a little bit with Becky Lynch and stuff, but Tim, it's a great point because honestly, all 4 of these ladies could definitely hold their own in today's women's wrestling.
And what's sad is today's women's wrestling is starting to fall back into this I don't care category, getting the watered down storylines, etc. It's a story for another day, though. But this eerily kind of emulated the 4 horsewomen to me. Seeing these 4 kind of reminded me of these were the original 4 horsewomen of WB in this era. You had the Victoria was kind of like the Bailey. She was that steady worker, had the title, but just for some reason never had that was never mega over either way. Never had mega heat. It was never mega over. We get good crowd reactions. Then obviously you have Lita, who's like the Becky Lynch, who's mega popular, could do no wrong. Trish is obviously like Charlotte. She was the one that was dominating, but she actually was over and people liked her. And then Gail Kim, obviously kind of like the Sasha Banks. She was very technical in the ring, move very fluid. Just for some reason, Vince just didn't see enough to keep them sustainable push. So it was weird how all 4 of them kind of emulated the 4 horsemen's women's career today, and how Gail Kim had to pretty much go to TNA to have a Hall of Fame career. And then Victoria had to go, like you said, had to go to Impact, come Tara and have a Hall of Fame career. As you guys said, it's crazy to me that I know we had a 48-minute main event, but you couldn't give them 6 minutes for a 4-woman match. Couldn't give them 7 minutes. There was so much gaga in between. They could have added 2-3 minutes to this match, and it could have probably been decent.
Yeah. Next up, we have Eugene getting a win over Jonathan Coachman in about 7.5 minutes.
Why are you laughing, Tim?
Well, this is what it was. It was a Gaga match. It was entertainment. It wasn't meant to be serious. Eugene, obviously, character I don't think you get away with today by any stretch of the imagination. But you play, for those of you who don't know, he plays a character that has intellectual disability, and so. But he can really go in the ring, and he mimics wrestlers. He mimicked the Junkyard Dog. He won with the rock bottom and the people's elbow. Some girl threw a stuffed animal or gave him a stuffed animal. He brought that in the ring, and I like Jerry Lawler's quote: "They should be disqualified. He brought a foreign object in the ring." So for what it was, it was entertainment. It was not meant to be serious. So my only issue with it was the placement of the card. I would have had this go right before the main event, not here, just because I think this should have been the Let Me Up match because. We'll get into it, but the world title match is right before the main event. So I would have liked to see the world title in this match flipped around. But, it was a segment, entertaining segment, and I think it accomplished what it was supposed to.
You think that Eric Bischoff really had the best interests of his nephew?
No.
He tried to convince him in that backstage segment. I could be wrong, but I think that Eric Bischoff was really not wanting Eugene there.
Yeah. I had that impression.
Yeah. But yeah, like Tim said, this is one of those things where it's a comedy act. You kind of know what you're going to get. Every time Coach gets in the ring, it's always usually funny. There's always some spots where you're going to laugh no matter if it's Eugene playing a special needs wrestler, like facing him, or if it was like The Rock facing. It didn't matter. DX and Coach, it just didn't matter. He always seemed to be he was very good at acting and playing it off the way he was supposed to. I will say that. That's one thing I'll say about Coach. Dry as shit as a commentator, but like playing it off, acting, being that kind of like, almost, too like narcissistic, even though you're not really a wrestler kind of character. He was very good at that. So
didn't Triple H and Eugene have a match like a few months later at SummerSlam? Like, wasn't this the SummerSlam that Eugene fought Triple H? I'm pretty sure it was the same year. Because I just remember, like, I feel like, because this is when, spoiler, when Roland and I graduated high school, it was 2004. So, like, this is very vivid in my memory because this is when, we didn't really have a lot going on once we got out of school. So we watched a lot more wrestling, just working, doing our thing. But I remember because, like, this was, they didn't really have The Rock Stone Cold full time anymore. John Cena just started his rise. Evolution just started their rise. But I'm pretty sure, like, The Rock came back because Triple H was, like, bullying Eugene, and they fought at SummerSlam in 2004. So I just thought
sounds
that was
about right. I mean,
because I kind of remember this match.
What day did we graduate, Mongo? You remember? I do.
June something. I don't know.
June 14th.
Yeah. So the day after this, so this was the day before our graduation.
Yep.
Because this was June 13th. But yeah, this match, I'm not going to, jump on what you guys said. I just agree with you. It was just popcorn match, get up, go to the bathroom match, comedy, whatever match. I agree with Tim too. Like, weird placement on the card. It should have been that bridge between the title and the main event, Hell in the Cell. So, kind of like going on the roller coaster versus like randomly thrown in the middle here.
Yeah. But next up is the singles match for the World Heavyweight title. You have Chris Benoit going to get a win over Kane in about 18 minutes, just a little over 18 minutes. It was a solid match. I mean, I actually thought Kane looked pretty good here, and he went a decent amount of time, which is a little surprising. But Benoit could work with anybody, so I was really surprised with this. I thought the finish was good with the roll-up finish after the multiple attempts at the crossface. So I thought it was really well done with the finish, and yeah, I was really entertained by this. I didn't really have high expectations for it because it's like 18 minutes in Kane, but Kane held his own in this match, and it was a decent title match.
At least it wasn't 18 minutes of the Big Show.
No.
So the only thing I will say about this match is they made it a little bit too predictable that Benoit was going to win, especially with jumping
with the beginning
earlier, and then will he compete? Blah 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 blah. Like, you would have been shocked if Kane actually won.
Yeah.
And Kane, to his credit, shouldn't need to do that. He's supposed to be a big red monster. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that he wouldn't need to do that to beat Chris Benoit. Like the storytelling was kind of weird in that aspect of it. And I think they were probably going like this, like grasping at straws. Like who do we actually have face Chris Benoit this time? Because, Triple H and Shawn Michaels were both facing each other. So they didn't have Edge ready yet. So, naturally they went to Kane, which is fine. And Jericho had his own thing going on. So I think, he filled the gap pretty well, but I just feel like got it that time. Just feel like they kind of missed what could have been a better story had Benoit attacked Kane. Like it made more sense if Benoit would have tried to weaken Kane versus Kane trying to weaken Benoit, because Kane's supposed to be this unstoppable force. But other than that, I mean, I know it's nitpicking, but I feel like that's probably the way it should have went, and it went the other way, and then it was just too predictable that Benoit would overcome all these obstacles and still retain the title.
That's the hard part, like you said about the brand splits too, is because you kind of limit yourself on storylines. And this is only like year 2 into the first brand split, so they really didn't have the star power as much on Raw that was ready. They had all the bench players that were going to be stars. But if you look back, like you said at the time, Edge wasn't ready, Randy Orton wasn't ready. He was just kind of getting pushed to that position. Batista clearly wasn't ready. So yeah, you look back in history, they had the star power, but it wasn't ready. SmackDown's kind of where the star power was in this time with The Undertaker and everything else like that. So I agree with you. Kane was the logical choice. It was a decent match, and like Tim said, Kane surprisingly kept up. But I agree with you too, Roland. Like it was just weird that he was the one kind of working down Benoit, like wearing and tearing him down. When the whole match, you're talking about what a technical wrestler Benoit is, and his Achilles heel is his headbutt, and take away the headbutt. He has nothing, and he should have been working Kane, like working the leg, working the arm, so he can't stand. And it was just kind of backwards. So I don't know if whoever booked this match just were trying to make Chris look strong, but I feel like it kind of made Kane look weak. But overall, it was decent. To go off my little ramble there.
So the main event is a Hell in the Cell match. You have Triple H getting a win over Shawn Michaels. A long match here, 47 and a half minutes. I don't have enough good things to say about this. It didn't feel like 47 minutes while watching this. Like I was in tune the whole match. I thought the selling by both guys was on point here. The right amount of blood. I thought they used the cell properly. I liked it how they kept it in the cell. They didn't go outside and on top of the roof and everything where previous Hell in the Cell matches were. And you had fire on a barbed wire 2x4 thing. They kept it in the cell. No interference, no shenanigans. Easy for me to say.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans. It was awesome. The storytelling, the emotion in this match. It's one of the best, if not the best, Hell in the Cell match I've seen. And you wouldn't think of it on this, just a Raw only Bad Blood pay-per-view. But this was a solid match. Like I said, I don't have enough good things to say about it.
You had to feel going in that being it was Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the story they told, if you weren't a fan of either one of them, first of all, what's wrong with you? Like you had to pick at least one of them at some point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I was fans of both of them. So it made that much more intriguing. Plus the story, the history they had together, how, Triple H was saying that Shawn was using him to stay relevant, all this stuff, Shawn and him had that falling out before he found God and all this stuff. Whenever they faced each other from SummerSlam the year before to this point, their matches were gold. I mean, they just were. Minus the Elimination Chamber where Triple H almost died and Shawn Michaels had an awful haircut.
And pants.
Yeah, well, that too.
His shit pants.
Yeah, right. So, it just, like Tim said, you can't. What can you say about two first ballot Hall of Famers having, a trilogy of matches, or even I don't even know what match this was, to be honest with you, like how everything fell, but they just had in that time just banger matches no matter what they did, and whether it was for the title, not for the title, for Shawn's comeback, they always seem to have a story. And even now, the storytelling holds up. The way that they both sell holds up. the things they could do inside the ring. Like a lot of people crap on Triple H because, he married Stephanie and whatever. And I know we've talked about this numerous times and we'll continue to talk about it every time we bring up Triple H. Even if he didn't marry Stephanie, he'd still be involved somehow because he loves the business that much. And Shawn Michaels, I mean, for a guy that's tried to get away, is still like a head trainer at NXT. You know what I mean? So like he's not gone either. So it just shows you how deep the business is in their blood, and matches like this, it just gives you a greater appreciation for both of them.
No, absolutely. And how could you not, like you both said, love this match? This was probably one of my top 10 matches ever. It's definitely one of my favorite Hell in the Cell matches ever. Like I'd probably put this right up there with Undertaker Mankind, and that only holds a special place in my heart just because it was on my birthday. So I feel like that gets the cheap little knock up to first because of that. But this is probably the best Hell in the Cell match because, like Tim said, they didn't go outside for the Gaga. They had everything under the sun. My favorite moment wasn't even a wrestling spot. It was at the end when the camera's panning out to the carnage in the ring, and you have Triple H laying over Shawn, exhausted. Shawn Michaels, exhausted, both bleeding. You have broken tables. You have a ladder. You just have destruction in the ring. And like Roland said, it was such beautiful storytelling. It's what wrestling should be. It was the passion, them beating the living fuck out of each other until they couldn't go anymore, until one person had to finally lose. So it was almost like an Iron Man match inside of Hell in the Cell. Like, it had that vibe of like they just wouldn't give up. And then I just think too, some of the moves, like Roland said, people shit on Triple H, but the way he was conducting himself around the ring, the way he was taking moves, giving moves, they both work so well, and they're both Hall of Famers and, like you said, trainers for a reason. If you were to rank the Shawn Michaels Triple H rivalry, this match definitely is, I think, is like the crescendo. This is like the best blow off you could do for a feud. Like, they might have had their tussles, but do you really remember anything else besides this blow off? Because they'd reunite DX a few years later and barely kind of fight. So this was the blow off to like their heated rivalry. And it was perfect.
The only other more iconic moment is after the SummerSlam match where Triple H hits him with a sledgehammer. Like, hits him in the back and whatever. And like that, to me, that's the only other more iconic moment of this feud is like, Shawn comes back and wins, but Triple H and even JR is commentating sold it so good. He's like, oh, that bastard. Oh, like, like, why?
Why? He hated Triple H.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean, and JR back then still knew what day it was. So
what town they're in.
Yeah. Well, what hand William Regal throws a punch with.
He's the right-handed southpaw.
Yeah, right. Oh, he hits him with a vicious right. No, that was this game.
So yeah, that's our rundown of Bad Blood 2004. I thought it was a solid show. I'm going to go with an 8 here. I think the main event really sold it for me, and I thought there was other good matches on the card. So I'm going to give this a high rating. I'll give it an 8.
I'm going to go Brody Lee Jr. down from you and like a half. So like I'm going to go 7.5. So not quite a Brody, not quite a -1, but like 7.5. And I know that was Steiner math for a moment. That's kind of what I was going for there. So before Mongo points it out, I don't want him to be like, I can see the smoke pouring out of both his ears. You two-eared bastard.
Just like, yeah.
Anyhow,
-7, 3. Divide Thomas Jefferson.
Mongo get the calculator out. He's like, I work with numbers. He's like, it doesn't even make sense. You hear him like typing away. But yeah, no, I'd say it was solid 7.5. I wouldn't quite go as high as the 8, only because I feel like we kind of get screwed out of a really good women's match. It could have been really well. And that's really it. I mean, even the Eugene segment, we knew what that was, and I also, the Kane situation of like him having to like beat up Benoit and still lose, still doesn't make sense to this day. But other than that, I mean, even I honestly can't think of another bad spot in the show, honestly.
See, I think I'm going to go a little bit lower than you, Roland. I'm going to go with a straight 7, just because, I don't...
-1. -1 from Tim. -1. Full -1.
Okay,
I'd half a -1.
Yes. It's just so confusing. I had a hard enough time not saying 1994 for Bad Blood. For some reason in my head, I thought we were doing the year 1994. I'm like, well, it doesn't make sense. There's no Bad Blood 94, but still. No, I think it was 7. Main event was what gives it this rating, and the Benoit title match was good, and then the Jericho match was kind of a miss for me. So I think that the Jericho match and the Eugene kind of brings it down, but overall it was a fantastic show. And again, the storytelling was great. And this, you can tell this is when Raw was on top. SmackDown was in their teeter-totter phase where they had the top stars, but their storytelling wasn't the best. But then when they got JBL rolling pretty soon, and they got John Cena, that JBL feud going, and they got the Eddie Guerrero going, that SmackDown to get so Raw kicked up. So hopefully we can cover some more from this year, because 2004 was a sneaky good year in wrestling that people forget about.
When does Goldberg come back? Has he already come back? Because I want to go to that point.
He left.
Stop.
I think that was
good. I don't want to cover any of that. Like I would.
I think he left. Yeah, he left in 2004, I believe.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we'll just keep that in the fucking rear view, and we'll just never.
Yeah,
cover it.
04 would have been WrestleMania 20, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was gonna say, since we have time, I thought of something fun I wanted to do with Tim for a game.
Oh boy. Okay.
So Tim, we're gonna do a little rapid fire, yes or no.
Okay.
I have a few movies here that I've written down, and I'm just curious which ones you've seen.
All right.
Hold on, and to be transparent, I didn't know about this, but I think it'd be a great idea if Tim knows the movie. He has to prove it somehow. I don't know how, but he has to prove that he has seen this movie, not just say, "Oh yeah, I've seen it."
Okay.
Because anybody can say that. Fair.
All right. So I'm not going to go through the entire list, but I'm going to go through some of the ones that I feel like you should have seen. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
No.
To be fair, I haven't seen that either. I think it's hot garbage. But anyhow.
Caddyshack.
Some of it, not the full thing.
Oh man.
All right. So what's your proof that you've seen some of it?
The little gopher coming out of the thing.
All right. Fair enough. All right. One for two.
I haven't seen the full thing though.
This one would be disappointed just because you're a music guy. The Blues Brothers.
No.
Seriously.
No.
I figured with Dumb and Dumber.
Nope.
All right. Any of the National Lampoon's movies, like Vegas?
I've seen Christmas Vacation.
Oh, sure. We did establish this. We got two.
All right, hold on. What's the proof that you've seen that one?
They go into they have to hike up all this snow to get the biggest Christmas tree, and they can't fit in the house, and then you can't get the lights to blink.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Thank God.
All right,
I was going to be real worried.
Proof of that one.
Get in your home.
All right, I like it so far. We're doing good.
All right. Anchorman.
Oof. Yes, but I really don't remember it. But I know he said "Stay Classy, San Diego."
Okay, we'll go
All
with
right.
that. We'll go
Fair
with that.
enough. Fair enough.
And last one, The Hangover.
No,
Okay, well,
I haven't seen any of them.
tried, but all I have to say to that is,
Are you serious, bro?
Are you serious, bro?
And actually, that was
I
more
thought
than I was expecting. So that was not bad.
me too, but I'm still some of the one. You got to see Caddyshack all the way through. You love golf. I was trying to pick ones I'm like, this would be logical for Tim to see.
You should have picked Kingpin and Big Lebowski, stuff like that, because he would have been like, "Oh yeah, I've seen those." See?
Okay, well, at least you've seen those two, so that's good. So,
Wedding Crashers, I've seen 100 times.
we're just gonna get Tim rolling. You and I are just gonna get him one of those, those voodoo accounts, the online digital movie libraries, and we just gotta find cheap movies and just throw them in that account. He has to watch them, and we can go in and watch the proof that he's seen them.
We should have homework that he has to watch one movie that we or the fans pick every week. Be like, "This is your homework, Tim."
Maybe for next week.
we need to essentially take the sheltered Tim and grow him a little further. It'll make him a better person in the future for his experiences, because when we joke about shit, we have to stop and explain it to Tim. And it's funny, but after a while, it kind of gets old. Everybody kind of expects it. It'd be funny if we started saying that. Tim's like, "I know, I've seen it. I watched it the other day." We'd be like, "What the hell?" That would be the next logical step, I think.
I think your homework next week, you should watch Free Guy on Disney. It's on Disney Plus with Ryan Reynolds. It's a
Free
great
Guy.
movie.
Never heard of it.
He gets trapped in it. You gotta watch it too. Well, he basically gets trapped in a video game. Without spoiling too much, so he plays the video game character. I was trying to get free.
Wreck-It Ralph? No.
Yeah, it's like a live action Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay.
Fair,
I don't know. I
enough.
just wanted to have fun. I saw that. I'm like, I'm gonna have this list handy in case, because I knew the show was shorter. Put the roll in there, like putting our words together.
Hey, sometimes they come out like magic. Other times they come out like big steamy piles of shit. What are you supposed to do? I mean,
You took an Amber
just live
Heard,
with it, right? Right. Cheers to the bed shitter. Anyhow,
Have we got anything else before we head on out here?
No, we had a Linda episode
I know.
and 3 references.
well, I mean, we could always add stuff just so that way my mom can get mad. But
I will say this. I did want to point this out. I did call Finn Balor during the Judgment Day a couple weeks ago.
You did. Saw
yeah,
the turn?
so
I didn't see the turn on Edge
feel-
coming, but
well, I feel like they only did that because Cody's out, and they're like, "Oh God, we don't have another face on this roster," which logically could have been Seth freaking Rollins when he came out and
Or
did the
Franklin, depending on Twitter.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Dusty, Dusty, you made him proud, whatever. Like that could have very easily transitioned to making Seth a bit of a face, and Cody goes off and does his thing, and there's like an angle that like now I get why they did it because obviously they want to do 3 more matches, best of 7, best of 12, best of 53. Clearly, they're going to keep doing these matches when he comes back, but like. They're like, oh God, we need a face. Who can we make face? Who's a believable face? Edge. We'll make Edge the face. He's now a face.
He's like, I changed my music and I cut my fucking hair.
Yeah, right. Yeah. To be fair though, his hair was so fucking nappy before. Like, sorry, Edge, your hair. I mean, I'm not one to critique hair, but like, his hair was like really long and like Jericho's hair, wispy and looks like hay. It's just not. It's just not healthy looking hair.
That's probably why he's doing the hair versus hair match.
Well, it looks like Jericho.
His wife
it looks like
cut that shit.
Yeah, it looks like Jericho took like the straw out of the fucking scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, put it on his fucking head. And he's like, "Look at my long hair."
He probably did.
See, there you go. Tim's like, I've seen that one.
I have seen that. I hate that movie, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
Why do you hate it, Tim? Why?
Oh,
What do
boring.
Oh yeah, it's,
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan. And then like you get slapped in the face at the end when it's like all a dream. You're like, I suffered through that movie and it was a fucking dream. Because she was like, and you were there, and you were there. Yeah, I wish I wasn't there. God damn, Dorothy, this movie sucks.
it was all a dream. Oh, whoops. What? Tim, that's a song by Notorious B.I.G. Just
okay.
Used to read Word Up magazines.
Tim's like, what's a Notorious B.I.G.? No,
he's the music guy. He knows music.
I know
that guy. Don't know what he sings, but I know who he is.
Music, typically.
Big
He's
Papa,
dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, with it.
Yeah.
Big Papa.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
So,
we're like the whitest white boys ever. Like, talking about like Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
We were like off the rails. We're like everybody's like, this is fucking filler. Shut the episode off. But yeah, it's I think that also I want to point out too that interesting happenings with the MJF thing. I know that we're not real sure exactly where that's going to go and how much is storyline, how much isn't, but
work.
yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see where they go from here. I think, obviously, we know at this point it's at least a work shoot at this point, but we don't know. You know, it would be pretty funny if and interesting if, say, Tony Khan works into a shoot here, like we discussed. He then fires MJF for him to only show up on Raw afterwards because he actually fired him. Like, that would be hilarious. Like, Tony's like, oh, I fired him. And then he's like, oh, shit. Like, I actually really fired him. Fuck.
Yeah, no, I think they're blurring the edge well because, one of the rumors that is going on back on the interwebs there is that TBS and TNT has, like, issued a directive that MJF must be removed from all this stuff. And I was like, okay, well, they clearly aren't going to have a network source. So who's the dirt sheet writers going to get this from? They're clearly going to get it from the AEW. AEW leaks things intentionally. Like when CM Punk was coming back, they intentionally leaked that he was in certain areas so they could get that buzz. So they've already done this before. So all it takes is a wrestler who's in on it. Like, yeah, the network's basically told us we can't talk about MJF, and then they're gonna run with it hook, line, and sinker. Because what better way to really work the crowd is to work the Dirt Sheet Writers. And Sean Ross Sapp, man, I've never seen someone that just can't handle taking the L more in my life than that fucking dude. He's still
MJF booked a flight.
Yeah, he's still like MJF booked a flight. Like, granted, dude's got more followers than we can ever dream of, but still, like,
Was that Paul Bearer?
I guess I don't know.
Oh yes,
Yeah, he booked a flight for my Undertaker.
Oh, there you go. There's a terrible Paul Bearer.
Oh no!
Oh no, it's right with this show. We just went off the rails.
Hey, we have filler here. Like I said, if you don't like it, shut the episode off. It's fine. You listen to enough of it. It's fine. You don't have to listen to this part. Like, we should have a disclaimer. Like, hey, just so you know, the last 3 to 5 minutes is just pure babble. So if you don't want to listen to it anymore, we'll see you next week. Like,
I can make Tim happy. Speaking next week, I can make you happy, Tim. Team Canada's in the pre-show.
yes.
wait,
Thank
so
God.
none of them are on Slammiversary?
They're in the Team Canada versus the Naturals is the pre-show.
I know, but like none of them are on the main. Like, you don't even have like Petey or Bobby or Eric Hill. Like, none of them.
Yeah, the singles match, but they're not really doing like
all
a
right.
Team Canada type of thing.
Well, I was sure Scott D'Amore's going to come out and wave his flag around and shit probably, and then the hockey stick will be involved somehow. I would venture to say, but who knows? Haven't seen it.
We got to tune in next week.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Tim to see another King of the Mountain match though, because the last time his head almost exploded.
So maybe possibly the following week, maybe we can try to have our special guests come back. Maybe we can do that for the following week. I know we hadn't decided yet. Maybe we can reach out and see if we can hook that back up. And because we definitely would like to talk to this person sooner rather than later if we could. Try to line everything up. That might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We touched upon it. So next week is TNA Slammiversary 06 as we continue our journey through TNA in the year 2006. So looking forward to that. This has been a fun episode. I know it's a little bit of the shorter topic. Well, you had some filler in there and a little insight into my movie preferences.
Mongo, we should do that every week. We should have like five movies every week and do like the Tim 5 at the end and see like what he's seen and what he hasn't.
I like it.
All right, we can do it.
The Tim 5
Tim
segment.
on the spot. Woo!
And if like he scores a certain amount like right, he doesn't have to watch a movie. And if he gets like 2 out of 5 or lower, he's got to watch one of the 5 movies you pointed out as like punishment.
I agree.
Tim's like, I don't have that kind of time, you bastards. Tim's like, I have to watch the wrestling show too that week. Come on, guys.
You do now.
Yeah, I know it's been voted into existence whether Tim wants to or not.
Is it my contract now?
Right, yeah. No, you work for MJF, not AEW. So
okay. Yeah. Maybe
I think that's the funniest.
You guys are getting paid. I'm just kidding.
I think that's the funniest thing about that whole Wardlow segment too. Like before we go, like they're like, "Oh, he used to work for MJF and now he's All Elite." Motherfucker, if he wasn't All Elite, he wouldn't have been on the goddamn All Elite shows, no matter who the fuck he worked for. Like, come on. Like, we're not stupid. Like, come on now. Like, I get that it makes for good TV and good, like, oh, look at yay, Wardlow. But like, it's like, come on, guys. Like, really? Like, we're not that fucking dumb. just throwing that out there. It was one thing if they had just like left it at the pay-per-view, like, hey, he's All Elite, he's free. But like every week, Tony Schiavone's like, God damn it. Or JR, he's like, God damn it, he's on.
Because JR forgot that he mentioned it already. That's why.
Right, he's like, oh, he threw a left hand. Oh, the big girls are on the floor. All that stuff. I did that just to pop Tim because there was a infamous segment where JR was in the match that had Karma and Nyla Rose, Awesome Kong, and the big ladies are on the floor. It's like,
don't forget Horny Jim too. That gets pretty cringy.
Yeah,
like Anna Jay was in a match and Jason gives her a Bronco Buster. He's like, I'd like to do that. I'm like, Jim.
Well, have you ever listened to his like Blue Chew? Reads on the podcast.
No, I don't want to hear Jim Ross.
I don't want to talk about
Jim
Ross having sex.
Conrad's like,
My God. My God.
By
We
God,
gotta go.
it's
Stop with this muddle.
by God, it's hard. It's so hard.
I damn near killed her.
I broke her in half.
I need more barbecue sauce.
Oh goodness. Now it's off the rails 100%. Sorry, JR. Jeez,
I'm not sorry.
oh man. I don't know. I think we probably should go here before we add like 10 more minutes of the. Which, don't get me wrong, this is hilarious content. Like, I think it's funny. Like, we should honestly do like a free for all episode one day where we just have certain topics and we just go to town, like legitimately, like spin a wheel or whatever, and we just give our honest opinion on.
We've done that before.
I know, but like I'm saying, like the most ridiculous stuff, not stuff that means anything, but like the dumbest shit we can think of. And I think it would be gold, because just listening to the three buddies try to pop each other, like to make, the giggles that you can make, is the point of trying to, say something. And when you get there, it's like, point, I got a point. All right. Like, it just, I don't know. I mean, I know we've done the roulette for like certain things, but I think it would be funny to do one for like no point to it at all, except it's pointless. And we think these 20 some odd things that we're talking about, even though they're fucking stupid or whatever they are, and it'd be hilarious. So the next time we have filler, maybe that's where we need to go.
I agree.
I like it. All right, well, we'll wrap things up like we said next week, Slammiversary 06. Thanks for tuning us in. If you watched us and listened to us live, thank you very much. If you're listening to us normal, thank you very much as well. We'll be back next week. Everybody take care. I'm Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Pulis.
And I'm Mongo.
And this is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present.
You believe I wasn't on mute that time?